So at the outset, I would like to thank the ARC team for this wonderful opportunity. And my topic is on medical legal aspect. Right. So you all know ophthalmic practice is now hazardous and risky. Practicing defensive medicine is inevitable. And the mutual faith we have with patient is replaced with mutual suspicion. So what are the aspects of ophthalmic practice today? From doctor-centric practice, it has given way to patient-centric practice. And we have to get used to this service provider role from being a paternalistic role and guiding the patients. And it's a contractual relationship now. It's no more that guiding relationship. And the huge expectation and information overload from the media and social media and the corporatization of healthcare sidelining the role of doctors. So why we are ignorant? So most of the medical curriculum doesn't focus on medical legal aspect. Once they exposed to practice, they learn it in a hard way, and nobody wants to talk about it openly. And many of us feel it may not happen to us, and we'll deal with when it happens. So what are the challenges that are unique to our specialty? So you all know mobile ophthalmic services, cluster infection has been the mainstay of medical legal challenges in our practice, and particularly daycare surgery and the issues with reference to emergency and follow-up issues, and the various modality of payment, the paid services, free services, charity units, and now insurance, making it very difficult and challenging for the youngsters. So what it can lead to? So medical legal case can lead to loss of reputation, loss of money, loss of motivation. And for a young postgraduate who's just joining the practice, it literally spoils his mind and the career. So you have to understand this terminology called medical negligence. So you have to understand the basic issues, what is called a standard of care. If you do something which is not done by an average doctor of your qualification, experience, with the same type of infrastructure and facilities, and if the care below the standard of care falls below the standard of care, it's called as medical negligence. So this is what the code C. The code C, the standard of care with reference to what is given in the textbooks, the guidelines given by societies, the standard treatment guidelines given by the government, etc. So there are two aspects to this medical negligence. One is act of omission, and the second one is act of commission. So what are the acts of omission? Failure to perform essential tests before any surgery. For example, for cataract surgery, if you don't record the blood pressure, if you don't record the blood sugar level or the intraocular pressure, or if you don't give a proper informed counseling, if the patient has a pseudo exfoliation and you forget to tell this zonular instability and forget to maintain aseptic precautions, ask about drug sensitivity, and ruling out other pathology like chronic diabetic cystitis. So all these are acts of omission. So you should not do this. Act of commission is performing operation when it is not indicated. For example, squint surgery for a cosmetic reason in a 70-year-old man, or LASIK surgery with for -10. So these are something which are acts of commission. So what is not a medical negligence? You have to understand this. There are certain inherent risks with reference to certain procedures. For example, bleeding, wrong provisional diagnosis, and failure of treatment. For example, pressure not responding to drugs, or unexpected result like high surgically induced astigmatism. All these are not negligence, but it may go away from patient's outcome or expectation. So how to prevent these medical legal challenges in ophthalmic practice? You're learning CCC for cataract service. So you have to learn before starting your practice this CCC, consent, counseling, and communication. So communication matters in any type of practice, whether in hospital or private practice. So your communication has a huge impact. And in fact, many of the lawsuits is because of this communication problem. And importance of informed consent, this you have to understand. So any procedures carries with it certain risks, certain complication, and alternative treatment. So you have to discuss the patient, all these things with the patient and their attenders. And if possible, document all this counseling and consent procedures. And with modern day method, you can even videograph this. The second aspect is medical records, focus on appropriate documentation. It's very important. The clinical documentation and statutory documentation are properly recorded. whatever method you follow, whether it's manual or EMR record. So these are some of the standards for clinical documentation. A huge truth is good documentation supports your defense in a court, and poor documentation helps the other side, particularly the patient's lawyer. The burden to prove negligence of a doctor is always on the patients, and doctor has to prove that he or she has followed the standard of care. So this is the important aspect of medical legal cases. So remember, we can defend endophthalmitis, DOP nucleus, ectasia, or on the table death, provided standard of care is followed. But we cannot defend wrong eye, wrong IOL, wrong surgery, wrong medication. So take steps to avoid these sentinel events or preventable mistake by using checklist or good documentation. And last thing is have an indemnity cover, join association, legal cells, PPLSS of IMA or AOS, and do some social activities and support your colleagues. So assess medical legal risk in your practice, identify preventable medical legal risk, develop certain strategies to minimize the risk and reduce exposure to litigation and complaints. So these are some of the overview of medical legal aspects. I would like to finish with this 9 R's. Have a good rapport. There should be a rational treatment plan to process, have a complete medical record, and don't give passing remarks on other professionals and particularly your colleagues. And things speaks for itself. Respect the patient and the families, and results have a good consent. Don't overpromise, and risk individualized approach to each patient. To conclude, healthcare is an art as well as a science. We are good at the scientific aspect, but we need to fine tune the art component of medical practice. Thank you so much for your kind attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nirmal. That was a wonderful presentation.
Beautiful.
Your quick comments about this, Dr. Mohan Rajan, sir?
I think nobody can be better than Nirmal on this
Absolutely.
topic. He's really a fantastic guy. But I'm just telling you, the 9 R's are very, very important. I think the most important thing is how you counsel the patient is very important. How to counsel the patient, how you talk to the patient, how you communicate with the patient, and also your records are very important. Many times we have seen, Nirmal also knows about it, that records are very, very shabby. That is the problem. So records are overwritten or it's not written properly. The sentinel events are not reported properly, and that is the reason why they are the ophthalmologist loses the case. So I think all the points have been well covered, Nirmal. That's all.
Hey,
Thank you,
Mohan, can I add something? This is Meenakshi.
Yes, Meenakshi.
Yes, ma'am, please.
Yes. Sorry, I'm outside going to visit father. So if I may add, because this is a program that is targeted at the postgraduates, I wanted to add 2 things. In many of the institutions, it is the postgraduate that takes the call, especially off hours phone call is often handled by the postgraduates or the fellows. It is very important to document the phone conversation as well, especially in postoperative patients who call in with queries. It is very important so that the blame is not shifted and said, I called, but they told me there is no need to come.
Absolutely.
So it is very important, document phone conversation. Second is I encourage them to get into the habit of not only just signing, but writing their full name. You know how Chief used to insist, you have to write your full name, not just put initials, and put a seal. In a Shankar Netralaya, everybody is given a seal with their registration number when they join. So get into the habit of signing, dating it, put a seal. Then you are like the Dr. Nirmal very nicely covered. The documentation is really the key to get out of trouble.
And you know, Dr. Badrinath used to have a very funny thing. Suddenly, before the surgery, he will go to the general ward and pull up the patient and ask the patient who is operating on you tomorrow. If they don't mention the name of Dr. Mohan or somebody, they will make sure that the case is not given to us.
My goodness.
Communicate. The patient should know who is operating. The patient, every point of time, the patient should know who is operating, what is being done to them. So that
that's our standard question during our NABH assessment, Mohan.
Yes, yes.
Very important. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your wonderful presentation.